What's up guys, it's Dennis. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I lost over 30 pounds in just 9 months while I was actually trying to save money. Now, I managed to achieve both of these goals despite it being the middle of a pandemic and everyone preferred to binge their favorite TV shows. Alright, so a little bit about myself. I've always struggled a little bit with my weight. Over the years, I've just been getting heavier and heavier despite following advice of most leading health practitioners. Most people advocate that you follow a well-balanced diet and exercise 2 to 3 times a week in order to be healthy. Despite following this advice, I feel as though I've plateaued, and in fact, I feel like I'm actually putting on more weight than what I'm losing. What this would do is destroy my self-confidence, and I'd find myself binge eating on weekends because I felt frustrated that I wasn't achieving any results. In fact, I got to the point where I thought I would never be over 200 pounds again, and I just gave up on that notion. But today, I'm 189 pounds, and it's the skinniest I've been in 10 years. If you're like me and you're frustrated with your weight and you want to save a little bit of cash, this video is for you. Before we dive into the video, I have one quick favor to ask, and that's that you smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. This is the first video that I've produced on this channel, and as the time of recording, I have 0 subscribers, and I'd appreciate every single like I can get on these videos. All right, let's dive in. Previously, I had a mildly successful financial podcast called Chain of Wealth. I started it with my, at the time, girlfriend, now wife. We interviewed a ton of people on the podcast with strategies as to how to save money and how to increase your income. And I have to say, it really paid off. We managed to increase our income and get out of debt, which was the goal of the podcast. Once the goal was achieved, despite knowing what the experts had told us, we let lifestyle creep take over. One of the things that most financial experts advocate is that you have to save money. Everyone agrees on that simple premise. However, even knowing that you need to save money doesn't mean that you're going to do it. And while we do save a lot of our income, we definitely let lifestyle creep take over. Now, for those of you who don't know, lifestyle creep is when your income raises and so do your expenses. In a perfect world, if you earn more money, you would be able to save a bunch more because you're taking more money home. However, what ends up happening is most people earn more money, so they spend more money. And as a result, your savings is pretty much the same. So we let this happen a little bit with our finances. And I noticed that we were spending a little bit too much money. So I sat down and had a conversation with the wife. NerdWallet put it simple. They said that lifestyle creep erodes your savings one raise at a time. And that's exactly what happens to 99% of people when they get more money. So I spoke with the wife. After doing the math, I discovered that we were spending quite a lot of money on eating out. Now, we really enjoy a nice date every now and then, but one of the areas where I felt that we could cut back was eating out while I was at work. So I work in downtown DC, and there just so happens to be a ton of options for eating. And as a result, that's what everyone in the office does. They go out for lunch, and while it sounds great and it's super duper convenient, it is very expensive. Going back to what I said earlier, I really try to eat salads a lot, and an average salad would cost me anything from $10 to $15 a day. These salads were delicious, but doing it multiple times a week ends up adding up really fast. Now, you may be saying, but it's only $10 a day. How could that possibly add up to a significant amount of money? Well, if you take $10 a day, 5 days a week, and you multiply it out by however many weeks you work in a year, that's a ton of money. And in fact, most households spend over $3,000 a year in eating out. Anyway, I started eating salads from the grocery store, and they cost $3 to $4 a meal. After a couple of weeks, I was pumped with how much money we were saving. And in fact, I started feeling a little bit better as well. So it got me thinking. While the salads from the grocery store weren't super delicious, they were okay, and they seemed to be a lot healthier. So I figured that the total calories in those salads were significantly less than what the salads were that I was eating out for lunch every day. Being a numbers-oriented guy, I figured I wanted to start tracking it. I decided that if I was going to track my money and try to see how much money I could save, I may as well be tracking my weight and seeing if I make any progress on that front. I decided that I wanted to get a scale that made it as easy as possible for me to track my progress. And as a result, I purchased a scale that connects to my phone over Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and automatically pushes the information to me so I could track it over time. Now, when I got the scale, it really and truly shocked me. And the reason I say that is it wasn't just a regular scale. It had a lot of other features. It calculated various other metrics and told you what your status was. Now, the first time I jumped on the scale, it told me that I was 223 pounds, which was the heaviest I'd been in my life. After it told me the weight, it took another 5 seconds and a whole bunch of additional information popped up on the screen. The first thing I noticed is that it told me that my body type was obese. And that was one of the most brutal things that I've ever heard about me personally. I'm a pretty confident guy, and to hear that I was considered obese gutted me. I just thought that I was normal, like maybe sure, I was a little bit overweight. I've always been a little bit of a bigger guy, but to call me obese, I felt like that was really aggressive. However, it kicked me into gear. I didn't want to be that guy that was obese. And that made me decide I had to get serious about losing weight. One thing that I learned on the podcast through interviewing so many people is a lot of people advocate if you have a goal, you should write that goal down and you should tell it to someone. You're way more likely to actually achieve it. So I made a promise that I would tell my wife every single day when I got on the scale what my weight was. The first couple times I did it, I felt really stupid. I felt like I wasn't making any progress. However, over a long period of time and tracking it every day, I got very in tune with my body and I would know what I could and couldn't eat and what my weight would do as a result. Once I started understanding what I could and could not eat, the weight started falling off in droves. And in fact, I started to feel better and better over time, and people started to notice, which further made me feel better, and it made me super persistent to meet my goal. One thing that the scale had when I initially set it up was a goal weight, and I put my goal weight at 175 pounds. Now, I haven't hit that goal weight yet. However, I've lost over 30 pounds already, and I only have 15 to go, so I'm very confident that I will get there with time and effort. Once I've been doing it for a while, I tried a couple of experiments. I experimented with pushing out my breakfast to later in the day and seeing if that would have any impact on my weight loss. Turns out it did have an impact on me personally. After speaking with a couple of friends, I found out that this is called intermittent fasting. Now, I don't follow intermittent fasting exactly, and you can research that separately. However, the basic idea is you push out your breakfast as far as possible, and you can have basic appetite suppressants to make you less hungry in the morning. One such appetite suppressant is coffee, and I love coffee. In fact, I drink at least 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day. I could literally drink coffee right now. But my logic was if I could push up my breakfast, it would make me consume less calories throughout the entire day. The reason I figured this out is I'm the type of person, if something is in front of me, I'm going to eat it. Because I pushed back my breakfast later in the day, I found that I wasn't as hungry throughout the day, so I was less likely to snack. And obviously, if I eat less calories over a period of time, I'm more likely to keep the weight off. I mentioned earlier that I used to work out 3 or 4 times a week, and I still do that. However, I don't think it's the main reason for my weight loss. I'll tell you guys what I have been doing, so just in case you're following along, you'll be able to achieve it too. I have a peloton. I ride it as often as I can, but mostly today I ride it for the mental well-being. Now, you may say to me, a peloton for mental reasons? And yeah, their classes are really fantastic and they leave you feeling good afterwards. I find that my body feels a lot better when I'm working out, and mentally, because the classes are stimulating and the instructors talk to you, you feel better overall and you feel like you've achieved something, much more so than when I used to pump iron back in the day. What I like about Peloton as well is there's a leaderboard, and I'm a competitive person, so I like to be as high up on that leaderboard as possible. Now, a quick tip, a lot of people look at the Peloton and say, well, I can't afford that. That's an expensive piece of equipment. And sure, it is expensive. However, there are various ways that you can pay for it. One such way, which is a great little hack, if you work in corporate, very often they have a gym or health and wellness policy. You can often talk to your company and get them to pay the monthly membership fee. Today, I'm down over 33 pounds and I feel fantastic, and I wanted to share my story with everyone on YouTube. I really think that just trying to be a bit more mindful about how you eat and what you're spending your money on can really make a massive difference in your life. I don't think that this is some revolutionary diet per se and that anyone that follows it will find success, But I wanted to share my story, and I really believe that all diets work. It's just a case of finding one that you can stick to. And I've been doing this for several months, and I still feel great. Now, when I go out, I'm making smart decisions for myself. I'm intentionally leaving food on the plate, whereas before I would eat anything that was in front of me. I really think that it can make a major difference in your life if you manage to get things under control. I'd love to know if you guys found any of these techniques helpful at all, or if you do any of these already, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what's working for you guys. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. It really helps the channel. Like I said, this is a brand new channel. I'm just getting up and running, and I'm hoping that this video provided some value to you.